All right, everyone, welcome to our AI prompting live training workshop. Today is December 18th, 2024. I mark that because in about a year, we'll see how far AI has gotten. So we're going to be like, look at that time capsule that we did. We were just babies learning how to prompt because it's going to move by pretty quickly. So, a couple of things that we were just going through. Some of you are already well experienced Zoom users. So if you're on here live, ways to minimize your Zoom and then get back to us when it's time, because we're going to be hands-on doing some really cool things. And also, if you function better like I do, writing things down first or even doodling and things like that, have your pen, have your I see Amber's pen. Yeah. Just have it on there. It takes all the tools, right? Whether, anyway, I love it and it helps me just really think it better. And now I'm going to be sharing my screen. And so anytime you want to write in the chat too, that's also a good place to leave a quick question just so you don't forget. And of course, this is interactive. So you're going to be thinking of your own goals because what you want to experiment with is, are you getting the right results that you're expecting? Because there's so many ways to conceptualize this. The opportunities are endless, the possibilities are enormous. And yeah, so first, my question to you is, why are you here? What are you looking to gain from today? So I'm going to, any brave people want to say out loud, but everybody else, please type it in the comments. Some suggestions. Yeah, she's on. So I'm going to mute anybody first who's not on. So who wants to say out loud why they're here and what they're hoping to gain? Go ahead, Amber. Go ahead and unmute first.
I didn't even know I was muted. Learning. I do everything by hand. I write everything out and do everything myself by hand. And obviously, this is where it's going in the future. So I said, I need to at least get the basics down so I can learn how to do it. And there's so much potential with growth. So I have to get my feet wet and get in the door. So that's what I'm hoping to gain, at least a startup, if nothing else.
Love that. Mike, you had your hand up too. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Marilyn, as you know, I've spent my entire life in the public sector and I retired a couple of years ago. And now I'm in the private sector because I was bored and my wife said, if you don't get out of this house, I'm taking a pillow to you. So, so I got together with one of the guys that used to work for me and with me, and we started a business. So I'm hoping to learn, first of all, everything I can about the business world, but how AI and its effects on the world are going to impact me running a business and particularly in the kind of business that I'm trying to run.
Fabulous. That's actually a really I'm so excited for you. Just
Well,
because there's going to be so many shortcuts that you're going to gain from this alone, and it's just amazing. And then Erica, did you have
Yeah, so
something?
I'm a project manager, and I think when you get to the point where you're like leading people, it can be easy to, well, I'm moving more into a strategy role and less of a project coordinator, but sometimes I lose touch with those. Like I'm trying to do a spreadsheet or do some automation. I'm like, I don't even do this much anymore because I'm like using my brain more than the tools. So, still want to stay connected with those things and be able to do things faster. So, that's why I'm interested in AI.
Love it. All great reasons. And then Emily posted that to learn something my husband doesn't know. So so I totally love that. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing my screen now, and let's bring this up. So what you're seeing here is Notion. And if you aren't familiar with Notion, you can actually get a free version of this. Definitely advise that you check it out. But if you're going to implement AI, it is a small subscription to go ahead and use it with the AI incorporated in it. What's nice about it is that you don't have to utilize something else where you have to copy paste back into this platform. So this is not where you're going to do some prompting tonight because I'm actually going to show you a new since last week platform. So it kept changing. Like I was like, okay, I'm going to show, wait a minute, there's this now. So you're getting the latest and greatest. But this is where we're first going to jump into. I want to know who you are as far as the kind of prompter you may be. So look at some of these points and you put in the comments which one you think you are. So if I think the best types of prompters are either curious and inquisitive. So you're always asking, and maybe you were that little person following your parents around going, why, why? Or you had one of those following you around. So they would make great AI prompters. And also, if you're not satisfied with the first answer, that's actually great because you find that you're going to do that with this prompting. And so you got to be willing to play. So maybe if that's not you, you can say, maybe I can unleash that about myself. So, and you could be many things. Maybe you could be a blend of a lot of things. Some of you are very detail oriented. I know Tony Chavis is very detail oriented. So, right. So most of the time they really look at the specific stuff. So if they see a special response from the AI kind of going, wait a minute, that's interesting, let me now explore that. That's pretty cool. So, and it's nice because then if, let's say, because there will be mistakes sometimes from what you get, don't always trust that everything's super clean and accurate. So someone detail oriented might say, yeah, you know what, that sounds good, but that's not true. And I need to really reprompt or do some investigation just to make sure that it's going to be accurate from here on out. And you can call AI out, by the way. You can be like, that doesn't seem right. Could you try again? And then it will actually try again. There's already been some rebellion going on last week. I'm not sure if you heard a little bit about that. The AI, OpenAI's AI was rebelling and not giving people the answers. So it's pretty interesting. Also, if you're a problem solver, maybe you're the kind of person who takes something pretty, confusing for some people, but you can like break it apart and you're good at kind of saying, you know what, that's the root and I need to, extract that. And it's similar to when you look at Iron Man, right? When he's like talking to his AI, Jarvis, that he's like tooling around, moving things around and kind of extracting something and then expanding from that point. So you're going to almost feel like Iron Man in some of these things as well. And some of you are just amazing at communicating. So AI is something that you're going to be communicating with. So if you're already in that space, in that mindset where your ideas, you just are just so good at expressing it, and maybe you're a great writer, maybe you're a good speaker, there's just ways where you can get your intentions out. That's a really great advantage for this. And then maybe you're just a iterative thinker, meaning that you know that you're not always perfect the first go round, that you're always, and I like the word refined. So refining your approach, kind of like, hey, I'm going to do this until I break it, or I already know I broke it. So now how do I fix it? So there's that kind of process too. Tinkerers are like that. I'm a tester. I know that I like that as well. Like I'm not expecting perfection right off the top. I'm always like testing and experimenting with different things. And then some of you are, of course, the creative and imaginative. Some of you all are songwriters. Janine's a poet, Barbara's a photographer. So maybe you're good at thinking of something different than most people might be prompting, and your results may be completely more, what do we call it? There might even be more surprises in the way that you get your answers because of the creative ways that you're prompting it. So that's going to be pretty fun to see, like just how your strength there would come to play. And then, of course, everybody should have a touch of patience and persistence, because it's one of those things that you have to put into action as well and make time for, and then sit yourself down, and if it doesn't quite turn out the first time, you got to just try again. And of course, being adaptive. So what are some of your traits? I want to see that in the chat real quick. So definitely we got Tony down. I know I've already called out some people. Curious to know what Nikki thinks about where she's at with some characteristics and why that all will matter. Because guess what? We're going to have to create personas for our AI. So somewhere in your notes, we're going to think about if you had your ideal assistant, what characteristics would they have? So maybe it's opposite of what you are doing. So maybe you need, if you're not the most creative, maybe you might want to prompt AI to be more creative for you, if that makes sense. So sometimes knowing where my weaknesses are may give me a better advocate, digital advocate, because they can fill in the holes, right? Love it. And then two, if you see you're in a group of other thinkers and other prompters, maybe as you might be surprised, like, wow, I knew about them, but that's cool to know that they are these types as well, because I think into the future, and I guess this is, I don't know too in depth about the story of Mr. Beast or anything like that, but I know that he had his community of video game players, and that's how they came up with their business plan was during like gaming, right? So having those healthy discussions in a mastermind, in a group, may even help you develop faster and go, oh, I didn't even think about prompting my AI to do that. That's great. I'm on it. So look at the people that's commenting as well, because we always use, at least for my meetings, we always try to network as well. So that added layer of finding other like-minded thinkers and advocates is such a great advantage. Okay, so now we're going to go further now. I'm going to show you, and you're going to type this in your browser. So now it's time to open up a tool. So get to your browser. And what you're going to type in is aistudio.google.com. And now it might ask you for like a quick permission or something like that. So let me know once you kind of got there. And if you see what I'm seeing on my screen, I don't know, do y'all see what says, hold on, let me stop sharing, make sure I'm sharing my screen correctly. And you let me know if you're seeing.
AI Studio dot what?
aistudio.google.com. So this is a test model, experimental model. You are one of the first in the world to be using it. This is technically Gemini 2.0. And they are incorporating Gemini in the new Chromebooks. I just saw a commercial for that popped on while I was watching it. Not Netflix, but what was I watching? Amazon Prime. Yep. And so that's going to be in computers now. So if you look over here, it says token count on my screen. And then when you look at your screen, once you've gotten access, so let me know, type in the chat access if you have gotten to it. So that way I know that you have your own screen to play with. And so it says here the model is 2.0 Flash experimental free. They're giving you 1 million plus tokens for free at this moment. Now it sounds like a lot, but when you generate something, it could be around 1,000 tokens at a time, right? So just note that. You can look at the pricing for the other Geminis that are available, right? So they do it by tokens. Some of you are already using ChatGPT or Lumina, or I use you.com, and I'll show you what that one looks like here in this tab.
Marilyn, I'm just at the
Yes.
beginning here. It says a new prompter, get API key.
Just go the prompt one. Thank you for clarifying that with me. So the
Marilyn,
prompt one, and then it might ask you to connect with like a Google account so that it knows that you're the ones who own the tokens. Barbara?
Are we supposed to click? I see use Google AI Studio, new prompt.
Yes, new prompt, correct.
Okay, all right.
Excellent.
Oh, then you see a legal notice and all of that.
Yep.
So do we go ahead and click the boxes and then?
Just click the one that says new
Hello?
prompt, and then it might ask you about your Google account if you're not
What?
already logged into that.
I see legal notices and they want you to check the boxes. So I guess I check them and then hit continue.
Yeah, pretty much most of it is just saying that it's an experimental model. You're fully responsible for, putting in things that you own the copyrights to. Then also, you got to check the sources. So not everything is going to be accurate. Kind of use at your own risk type
So
of
we're
thing.
at
That's
the
with
what
every
you-
AI.
What you bill, is that the page?
I'm not entirely sure what you're seeing. What are you seeing? I'm going to
It
show you
says-
my screen again, so
Okay.
it should look similar to mine. No, hold on. I'm on you.com here. Does it look like this, Barbara?
Yes, what you build, I'm there. Mhm.
Oh, excellent. Yay. So you'll see a couple of sections and we'll go through that. All right. So that's where we're going to play. Now, they do have a go to the left. I want you to click prompt gallery. So there is some great things that you can play with that's even more in depth, but right now that's probably going to be very confusing if you were like, what is that? But let's say, you're a parent and you need to create some math worksheets, right? I think a little bit of what Amber was talking about, like ways to innovate, even just in your daily life, trip ideas, right? Recipe Genie. You can create recipes from an image. So if you take a picture at a restaurant of your food that you ate today, and you're like, I want to make this in my kitchen, you submit that picture to this Recipe Genie and it will spit out the recipe.
What?
That is a prompt, people.
Oh, that's crazy.
It is super crazy. Maybe you have a new business, Mike, and then you need a marketing AI. There's already a ready prompt for you there as
Which
well.
we have not started advertising yet because we've been doing so well for the last 9 months or so. But at some point, we're going to have to start advertising to increase our business. So, yeah, bring it on because I have no clue.
Absolutely. Yeah, perfect. And maybe there's like, you're trying to clean out your closet and you just don't want to look at it. So you take a quick picture of your closet and you're like, I don't even know what's in there. You can ask it to list the things that it sees in the picture based on what you prompt it from there, right? So, but that's what's happening right now. And then if you need help responding as Santa to someone's like letter, there you go. So there's really crazy things that's already in there to kind of help you. But let's pretend it was 2 weeks ago and that this didn't exist. Literally, it was this was last week. This came out and everybody was buzzing about it. And I was like, what is going on? This is crazy. So yeah, so you're now seeing things that most people haven't seen yet or don't even know that it's alive now. So if we go back here, what I asked AI to help me do was to kind of just like, hey, give me a brief overview based on, I gave it some like things already. But I'm not going to read this out loud to you, but it's just funny because the outline that I first plugged, here's how you prompt some expansion, right? So let's say here where it says ethical considerations of responsible AI usage. So we're here right now in Notion and we're going to use the AI. See this one little thing? It says Ask AI. I'm going to click it and then I'm going to say, create a short essay. Hit enter. And then it's going to think for it one moment. And then there it is. Right? So already it's answering from I just highlighted the thing to expand it. And I can ask it other things too if I wanted to. But just to create a short essay, so that could be a prompt to think about. Sometimes you see a sentence and you're like, I don't know what that means. Like if you don't know what, responsible AI usage, ethical considerations for responsible AI usage. If you're like, what does that mean? You can, in some AIs, just ask it, say, based on this sentence, can you write a short essay? And then it'll fully expand it from there. Okay, so I think that's pretty interesting. But what we're going to do right now is think of an objective, maybe something that you're trying to create right now, or maybe something stumping you when it comes to organizing something or trying to, figure out some steps. So let's come together. So who has something that they're like, this is what I want to test tonight. And then we're going to give you a moment to test. What would that be? So one, pick a direction, right? Because of course, now your brain's like, oh my gosh, I can use it for so many things. What do I first try to pin down? right? So who has something that's like, man, I've been trying to crack this, or I've been so slow at doing this. So normally let's start with the problem. So who has a big problem or any problem really?
I could share a problem, but I've got to jump off and I don't know if that's fair. Because
We'll share your problem real quick. Maybe I'll be using your prompt for you.
it's taxes and organizing finances and getting everything together and missing deadlines.
Ooh, maybe too. You have a big thing of receipts, and at some point you could just take a picture of all of it and then say, AI, what's all these receipts about?
Or maybe they're just scattered all in my computer and in emails and
Hmm. Okay,
Maybe.
that's a good one. I like that. That's normally a huge problem for many, especially when it comes to the deadline. And Tony said that she has one as well. So let's hear Tony's.
I was just thinking about something that I'm want to work on is automation for selling a digital product. Creating
Perfect.
a fully automated system that will integrate between the purchase point and the customer.
What we's gonna do?
So fully automated system that will, what were you saying again, Tony?
That will communicate with a potential client purchasing a digital product. I don't know if we need to say, maybe just say ebook
Could be.
or a training course.
Yeah. So a couple of things, right? So when you have the tools that's on hand, one of the things that you have to consider is, does it have API integrations, or can you use things like Zapier for automation? So technically, this is a generative AI prompting section at this moment. And then there's generative versus autonomous. So autonomous will start doing different tasks for you. There's also like make.com that's kind of like a Zapier. There's also some newer bots that will pretty much look at your screen and watch you do something on your screen and then work on replicating what you're doing so that it can then take over for what you're doing. So we also have to know, like in this understanding, what are the parameters of what's possible based on just prompting. So prompting technically won't connect a lot of the tools for you. Prompting is like brainstorming, and Mike was asking, what is API? It's just a key. It's almost like, hey, I'm going to take this platform and connect it to my website. But since my website is password protected and I don't want to keep kind of like opening it up to get access, you pretty much, it says, do you have a key? And then this one says, here's the key, but don't share it anywhere. And then you got to put the key there. And then you got to confirm that you were the one to put the key. Like it's a way to get things to talk to each other, so that it functions smoothly. And so, you would need somebody who's good at that technical thing to make sure it's done right, because, things could break. So there you go. So
Thanks,
Erica
Erica.
does a lot of web development, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so most of what I've used some API for is also just like payment things to connect from like one platform to the other. Sometimes they'll say, in order to make this payment integration go into here, you'd have to put in the API. So it's very secure, right? Because sometimes people don't want to do anything that's not secure. As far as I know, it's pretty secure. Okay, so just to kind of help Tony with her desire, right? I think there's a lot of layers to what you're wanting, but what can we extract from that you could start using your AI prompting level for, right? So it's almost like I'm hiring a new assistant, right? And if I hire a new assistant, that's kind of their level of understanding first, is they're trying to get to know you and you're trying to see like where their skills can keep expanding from you feeding the right information into there. Okay, so that's a nice puzzle. We're going to help you prompt some things for that. But does anyone have anything else too, as far as what they would like to experiment with tonight that would be something that maybe that will open some aha moments for you? But let me just, while
I
you're
did.
thinking of that, go ahead, Barbara.
I have been struggling with how to get started. I want to create a virtual gallery for artists to exhibit and try to sell their work from. But I've been struggling with what to weed out. I've seen some things online, but I don't know if that's a good idea to go that route or not to go with that. So, I mean, I don't even know how to even get started.
Okay, so put in like, what is your final goal? So I like how we kind of fleshed out the final goal for Tony's, that fully automated system. So your final goal is to have an online gallery where artists are being displayed, and that maybe you change the exhibit like every 60 days or something like that. So give us your final, like, yay, I got here, in the comments, right? So I'm gonna spotlight Nikki for a second, because I've been pushing her to do these different tools already. So, and she is using the Notion-based AI. So Nikki, tell us a little bit about what you've solved recently using the Notion AI.
I have an huge to-do list. And every time, and a lot of it is like tedious stuff, something that can wait, that can wait, that can wait, that can wait, that can get done, but that can wait. And it's always like behind the scenes stuff. So here I am, and I have my notebook that was full of my little tabs on the side of all my important pages of all my, okay, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. So I put it into Notion, and I just typed them all out. I typed them all out into Notion, and then I asked Notion to prioritize this list or tell me how to hit this goal on all these to-do lists. And it gave me like kind of a step-by-step thing. First, get them in line. Then do this, then do this. And some of the steps, I took it a bit further, and then asked to go ahead and show me how to do it this way. And then it broke down its own list. So when I was like, I have no idea where to start with that. And it was like, oh, well, start with the ones that are like this. And I'm like, okay, So it took my very large to-do list and helped me navigate it. So
yeah, and it's neat because she has it all compartmentalized and accessible online, but it can be easily expanded through AI. Okay, so Mike had said, can AI be used to create a means of marketing a business in a manner that will identify and appeal to your target audience? Absolutely. Okay, so now here's the first thing we're going to do. So as you have your prompt from the studio, Google AI Studio, notice that on the very top, and I'm going to share my screen as well. So as you're on yours, okay, see how you can title it. That's really good because believe me, once you get used to prompting, your list of prompts like expand from like 1 to 100 really quickly. So giving it a title is helpful. And especially I love when platforms do this. Not every platform has this option, and this is nice that you can here. So think about what you're wanting. Give it a name, right? So I think, what was Janine's? She was like, okay, so we're going to say tax prep and financial organization. Okay. You don't have to do a description unless if you were saying, okay, well, this is for my friend Janine. Okay. That way I know, oh, okay, I wasn't prompting that for me. It was for my friend Janine. So we'll save that. Okay. Now look where it says system instruction. This is where you have to sit and think for one moment, who are you talking to? Because if I could pick anyone in the world to help me with this one particular subject, who would it be? right? So I can say, you are a wise tax professional that is very organized and um, is a is and has a patient tone when it comes to helping someone who is busy and slightly distracted. Okay, so I'm giving it a little bit of a character. So let's find out what character, to take a second before we start prompting here. What character are you talking to right now? And feel free to share. So who wants to share who they're talking to? Maybe someone's talking to an art gallery, the owner, or like who, yeah, financial advisor. Okay. Erica's talking to her financial advisor. Who's Jean talking? Mike, who are you talking to?
Well, before I get to that, just so I can understand and try to keep up, because this is all a new world to me, so I apologize.
Yeah, it's probably coming
Uh,
up at you fast too. Go ahead.
So when you say who am I talking to, are you basically saying who are you directing? If you weren't prompting AI, who would you be directing? I guess what's your target audience? Is that
Nope,
You're,
nope,
you're
nope. So
creating a character.
so and I think Dr. Joe interpreted that same thing. No, not who I ultimately want to talk to. If I was shown, if I was in a room of like really brilliant people and I could pick one person to have a coffee chat with for an hour.
It would be Maryland, of course.
Yeah, so you could feed the characteristics of that person, right? Experienced entrepreneur who is like very involved in the community, knows all about networking, and also is a nerd when it comes to new technologies. That would be the persona that you would plug in.
Okay, so you create a persona, that's a good term, um, to absorb what AI
To converse with.
It gives
To
it a
converse with. It's gonna now go, it's gonna find all of that knowledge and all that tone and kind of sit it down in front of you. So that's who you're talking to. You can even be crazy. I know people who are like experimenting on really crazy stuff. They're like, treat me like you're a redheaded stepchild. You have no patience for me. But yet you always tell me the best thing I could, do, but you always have a harsh tone. Like you can ask it to speak to you like that. So you're, like, who do you want as your advisor? Right? Maybe you're a big Harry Potter fan and you're just like, you know what? I would really get a lot out of talking to a Professor McGonagall character who can help me like weave into my life a little bit of magic and or something, right? It's like you could, like, it's so crazy. If you want to talk to a three-headed dragon, I'm sure you can prompt that. I'm not sure what would come out, but or if
Fire.
AI might be like, no, that's way too crazy. It also can tell you going, I don't understand what you're asking me, which is also funny, right?
And that's the idea of being
Um,
able to refine it based on what it answers. I guess you now go back and go, okay, let me refine this piece or that piece to give me what I'm looking for.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I like what Dr. Joe put. So let's say, I don't always have access to Les Brown or someone, right? I can feed it like, or maybe I'll find articles of what other people written about Les Brown, and then I can have AI condense and create a persona that I can then copy and paste and then say, okay, you are a wise motivational speaker who has spoken to big organizations like IBM. You're well known for filling stages and helping other speakers learn, and so I just type it in. You're kind of it's like a seance. No, you're trying to like give me the spirit of that person
Okay, so you're
and let me talk
telling
to that person.
so you're telling AI, this is, I want you to be, you know, Joe Schmo, who is a neurosurgeon and an attorney, but also blah blah blah, and then it will spit back at you from
Has
that
good
perspective.
bedside manner. Yeah, it's going to start kind of looking at that things from that perspective, right? So, oh, I like what Erica just put. You are a professional dog trainer with years of experience. You work with dogs who are have severe, who are reactive or have severe anxiety. You're highly familiar with working with dogs that come from a shelter environment and help them thrive in new homes.
So
Yeah.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
So when you create this persona, right, does it say it requires a specific type of intelligence? Or understand that AI has taken intelligence from multiple surveys, multiple people, just basically observing and monitoring any and everyone for over however much time. But does it actually have the intelligence of that particular being or character that you will create? Meaning, like he just said, like, you're a neurosurgeon and a lawyer. Okay, well, do you know the law? Or are you just going to be what they perceive a high paid, high scale, very valuable lawyer, what they think that characteristic trait would be or personality would be, or do they actually have the knowledge of?
So both yes, but both no. Okay. The latter one kind of always kind of standard, right? So it would get a general sense. However, if you wanted something that was truly fed the right information, that's what we call an AI agent that has been trained accordingly. So I know that there's been some law firms who had been prior to them revealing it because they had an NDA. They were actually training OpenAI to have that same sense because in law, if you leave out one little comma in a document,
it.
it's you're not a free person. Like,
Right.
So it depends on the model, who trained the model, right? And who's still training the model because AI is AI for a reason. It is still learning and always changing, and it has its own mind. So, so it's kind of like that's why there's these disclaimers saying we're not fully responsible for what it might spit out, right?
Right.
And because what if like just a bunch of lawyers decided, hey, we're now into the game, we're gonna prompt AI, blah 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 blah, and they're asking it to break rules. Is it eventually going to break rules? So we don't know fully. And it's funny because when you watch a lot of what's in development, most of the time they go, we're just getting lucky. Like we don't know how it all works. Like these are the developers saying that, we're feeding it stuff, but we're working with an entity. We don't fully know how it works.
Fair.
So good question. I love it. And so the best thing you could do is to feed it the right information in the beginning, right? And then of course it hopefully would bring in other things again, depending on the model. Some models aren't what we call up to date. So when you're looking at the previous like chat GPTs, it'll say, I can't answer that question because I'm not connected to the internet. So meaning it's just using all the models it was trained with, but it's not using new information past a certain point, past what it was fed. So this is Google. Who owns most of the information on the web? Who has access to all of it? So I would think that this one here, this model, and that's why they're letting you test it for a million tokens, because they want to see how they're doing with it as well. And they've been pretty quiet with this AI game until just now, so it's just pretty interesting. They waited till the end of the year, right? But anyhow, so these are like I could tell, especially Amber, we got our big thinkers in the room. Okay, so part of our thing that we're going to need to kind of boil down is let's pretend you brought in somebody that you got the right qualifications for, right? This is like the ideal person that you said, here's my requirements for my assistant. I want my assistant to be this, this, and this, and this, patient, but also like a little bit inquisitive, but then also wouldn't mind telling me if they see something, kind of like if you were voicing that to somebody. you wouldn't want to overwhelm them in the first few conversations or the first things that you require for it to answer. So now that you have your persona, hopefully, right? And ask the group if you need help. So, so the first thing I'm going to prompt here for Janine saying, I'm really overwhelmed and my information about my business and personal finances are scattered. I could ask the voice prompt too, but since we're typing, are scattered and unorganized. What first steps should I take to get a handle on this? Right. So just let's see what it spits out. So this is what we were talking about. We're going to prompt and test, prompt and test. And that's pretty quick.
Heck yeah.
Right. So if you were to ask a bookkeeper, she'd be like, can I call you back? I'm about to jump into a meeting. I'll call you back. And you're like, I'm panicking now. Right. So these are, you're probably some of you are like, okay, that makes sense, right? That's pretty simple. Designated time and space, gather your documents, create a simple system, use a tracking method. Okay, there's a spreadsheet, Google Sheets. Okay. So then I'm like, ooh, what is this part, the spreadsheet? You can start with a simple spreadsheet. Okay. All right. So I'm going to highlight that and say, this is what you mentioned. And I always kind of think back in my head because I want to like leave it at the end, the copy paste part. What I'm going to say, are you able to help me get started with a spreadsheet? From what you mentioned. And then it mentioned, I'm going to paste what it mentioned. So that's good because some people are like, I don't even know like where, like, okay. So it's going to give me a breakdown. Now, I believe, and again, this is super new, but there should be a way where in this Google one that you can start even kind of connecting it to, and it actually will save to your drive for some of these things. Okay. So as it keeps expanding, I can even kind of say, okay, based on like some of the things I'm going to pull first, then I want to expand from there. This one's a little boring of a topic personally. So, but we're going to help Janine out like on my end. Okay. But here's what I want from you guys. You
Yeah,
put
can I
in
ask
your
a question?
persona. Oh, go ahead. Who had a question? Amber?
Yeah,
Oh,
when,
Barbara.
when you were sharing your screen, on my end, everything is really tiny. You know, everything that you're typing is really small. Should it be small on my end? I know
It could be a setting that you have, like maybe if you can
I can
go.
hear what you're saying, but I can't read it.
You mean the results or the prompting?
So when you're typing, and you know everything that you were typing,
Mhm.
and I could hear everything you were saying, but I was trying to read it as you were typing it, and it was so small.
Yeah, it could be just the way that your view is from your browser. There's a way to magnify.
Maybe
You
hit
can
desktop
expand.
setting if
Yeah.
she's not on desktop.
I'm sorry, say it again now?
Maybe if you have a desktop setting,
Okay.
if you go into the settings, you might have to hit desktop.
Okay. I don't want to lose this whole thing.
I know, it's okay. So,
Um,
yeah, it could just be the way you're viewing it. So, can you see your history if you leave the prompt and come back? Yes, for this one, yes. I always save it just in case. Again, it's only been alive for about 6 days, so I don't want it to be like I don't want to assume that it after other people start experimenting with it that it's not going to glitch. So if you really got some good results, I always say copy it and paste it, right? I guess it didn't save. So, oh, because you went back to it? Because I thought I didn't save something, and when I did come back, it was there again. So I don't know, maybe if you
It
hit
ended up
refresh.
blank when I came back.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that one's a new model. I'm gonna hop into you as well, you.com, so you can kind of see all the other magic that's in there. But who else has other fun things we can play with? And I'm gonna show you like how I would do it, right? So I just want to first start with you guys as my guinea pig ones.
I put
So who has?
something.
Okay, go for it. What does Nikki got?
I put a first-time traveler to Italy. And I said, you are a travel advisor who is an expert in traveling in Italy, especially in all the major cities. You have a professional but friendly tone, so your client knows they can trust you.
Very good. I like
Ooh,
that one.
okay. Wait,
Yeah.
so are you saying
So-
that you're talking to a first-time traveler?
Yeah, because I'm so sorry. Let me shut my door.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. See, because sometimes it's weird, right? Because we want the output to be pertinent to maybe an audience that we're trying to capture. But I need to talk to somebody different in order for us to first converse to create the thing for the other third person. So think about it.
I'm the traveler.
You're the traveler. Yeah. Okay. See. So think about there's a possibility of either 2 people in the room or 3 people in the room. Here's what I mean by that. If the answer is just for me, I am the asker. I need to give my resource a persona. Okay. So maybe, okay, that's pause. If I'm marketing or doing something for a customer, right? There's me, there's my AI, and there's a customer, right? So the AI has its own knowledge base or persona. So if you're the first time traveler, right?
Yeah.
Who would you want to talk to?
Well, so that's where which I usually have it on, but that's where this is confusing me. So then I'm just playing the role of the first time traveler. And I'm
Yeah.
having
Okay.
AI.
So maybe you really like the way Anthony Bourdain travels. Maybe some of his characteristics, knowing about food and culture, saying you are a well-cultured traveler who's very experienced in finding niche places, special experiences that most common travelers do not know about. Like I want, or Stella Tucci.
So,
Like,
right. So my question is, does it find those places? I feel like is it Nicole? She did that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, she put it in like, this is what I'm looking for the AI to do. My question is, does the AI give you back like, oh, okay, in Italy, go to, whatever this restaurant is in real life, like it's telling you what the actual information is. Say, here are these tours, here's this place, here is that, you want to visit such and such. It gave you that information?
Yeah. It told me to throw a coin in the fountain.
Of course it did.
And I did just prompt it because I actually have this going on in the moment and she doesn't have any money for tours. So I said, what if I have no money for tours? So now it just gave me a list of free stuff to do. So
Right. Yes.
I'm not
Nice.
sure comprehending the third person part.
Well, it depends on the AI, right? So this
Okay.
Google one is new. So if
Okay.
I'm here, then I do have that field. So thanks for thanks for asking that, because in Notion we don't have that field, right?
Probably why, yeah.
Because you're using Notion, correct?
Yeah.
And then some of you who are using u.com, I know some people are gonna be watching the replay, they're using u.com. There's this, do y'all see my screen?
Yeah.
There's this thing that says agents. Okay, let me open up agents. So I can create agents here. So if I create an agent, I'm going to give it instructions. Be creative, be bold, be straightforward, right? That's what it's saying. So you can create the agent. So let's say see examples. And it does help to have these fields, right? Mark Zuckerberg was recently on an interview and he said most households will probably have, and he meant agents just like this, have about like at least 100 agents at the reach of their fingertips, because you don't want to keep reiterating, right? So custom agents. All right. You are a sous chef. Your job is to help people with cooking adventures. You assist with recipes, provide meal ideas, given food items, suggest meal plans, find restaurants, anything else food related. And then always respond using bullets, because you're like, I don't want to read paragraphs. Okay. And then which some people don't. And then provide a,
I like bullets.
isn't that cool? So it's a brand new world, meaning months ago we couldn't do this prompt, meaning we couldn't have this extra layer of engaging a persona. We just had something like the Notion AI where you would just put query, right? But so now what's happening is that it's learning to be something first and then adapting to that persona and then giving you the answers. So you're giving it a personality, you're giving it
Like it's like an assistant. You're
yes,
creating an assistant for
exactly
that
that.
knows anything you want it to know.
Yeah. So look at these instructions. So persona, you could be, you don't have to be that
Personalities.
creative either, right? So here's you can even do instructions like this where it's like, okay, let me just kind of section it off. So it's showing you that, you can either put it like this, or if you want to get like, more bulleted about it. So you can say, look, this is who you are. Here's why you exist. And now here's what I need from you. Like, here's your directions, right? So I need you to ask me questions back. So maybe you want an AI that is kind of like, well, is that really what you want, Nikki? You're like, oh, okay. Or aren't you allergic to things like that? Why are you trying that? Like if you want it to do that, you could prompt it. So right here, right? So adapt the level of detail based on the user's familiarity with the project and management concepts. So you can even train your own agent to maybe be you. Like the best person you probably understand, hopefully, is yourself. So let's say you want somebody else to talk to the AI that's you. I'm sure there's plenty of people in this call right now who's been wanting to replace themselves. Now you can. So if I was to clone Tony and then say, hey, Tony, can I borrow your AI? Because I need to rearrange my living room, she'll be like, okay. So that's probably what's going to happen too in the future. You can register your persona and all your ins and outs of who you are, and then lend it out to somebody without actually being there. What? Right. So look at this. Right. So you can even kind of say, hey, I'm creating a quiz. And I'm going to give you the answers. And then that way people are asking you these things, like you'd know exactly what to do, right? So you can even feed it that much stuff.
I think it's really cool that you just mentioned that, because so far some things that I have been working with AI, is what I actually did was I directed AI to actually go to my website. And I
Who
said,
wrote your website? Was it
well,
you?
I created it.
Okay, good.
But I'm saying I wanted to make sure my personality was in my website.
Ah, yes.
Gave it things that I wrote. I gave it places to look at things about me. I gave it a lot of input and information about me and basically how I talk. And now when I ask it questions, it seems like it's pulling from my head.
It is. Yay. Exactly. Exactly. Did everybody understand? Let me stop share for a second. Did you understand what Tony was saying there?
I gave AI a lot of information about myself, how I think, how I want things done. I kind of helped it understand my voice.
Perfect.
And
So-
so it's doing that first by giving it information. I mean, even sharing a picture of myself so that AI could visualize who I was, it helped to really start developing my voice. I know what I want to say, but let's say I needed help writing a particular document or sharing an experience. I put an experience in. I told them, I said, I have been through XYZ. This is what I've experienced. And now I want to share this with people to help them shift in their mindset to move forward to do this, 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 and that.
So
And-
we can borrow Tony's.
Now build me a course on XYZ. It spit it out. And I was like, that's it. It was like it gave me exactly what I was looking for, but I gave it where to start.
Love it. Love it. Amber, did you have a clarifying question for that?
I was just saying, so it's kind of like building an algorithm of your own self versus like what you check on YouTube. It's just monitoring you and saying, okay, these are her patterns from behavior. This is how she would normally interact with people or things, and it's creating a mimic of you.
Yes.
Nice.
Technically, yeah. Unless you create an agent and you give it parameters to not be you.
Right.
Because sometimes like that's good for a brand voice to be you, but then if you're trying to extract other ideas, right? So you're a competent online seller who knows all about automations and how to create ways to make the customer buying experience smooth and without any crazy hiccups or delay, right? Like I would need an agent, kind of like what Tony eventually wants is to have this automated thing. Then Tony would need to make sure that she has another way to design a different AI because the Tony AI may not be the one to help bring that new thought about, right? So that's why, and when you see the develop, like I have to watch all these interviews because I'm trying to figure out what are they planning here. So when Mark Zuckerberg says that he pictures that households will have all these hundreds and hundreds of agents, it's not a future thought. They're working on it right now, right? So I'm trying to read between the lines and go, okay, so I need to be good at programming AIs. Like literally, if my refrigerator was a type of AI, you are a great fridge that does not allow carbs.
But lets me eat
you
what I
know how
want,
to
so.
keep me hydrated, but then every once in a while, you know how to reward me with some treats. So maybe a secret compartment opens in the fridge. Say, you ate well for the past 10 days. Ta-da, cheesecake, right? Like that's cool. But look, I invented something right now. Just so you all know that I did that. Okay. Hey,
So
are
I
you
just-
listening?
So I just typed in this kind of long thing and it spit out, thinking of doing it, using the prompt. And I think this kind of plays into what you're saying. What it spit out to me, I'm not really sure if it understood, I typed in the prompt, you are blah, 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 blah. And then it kicked back and said, okay, I understand as, such and such. And the stuff it gave me, I went, yeah, but that's actually talking from this perspective, and I want to talk from my perspective for what I'm looking for. So I guess that's the part that you need to play with as far as figuring out is your I don't guess that's the agent, but when you're creating the prompt, which perspective do you want AI to take?
Right. So if I'm investigating or researching, I want AI to not be me.
Right.
If
Right.
AI is gonna be me, then I need to make sure I'm in that setting, right?
Right.
So then I have to feed it saying, hey, AI, I am this person, kind of like what Tony said, here's my bio. Here's some of the things I've said before. Take a listen to this podcast I was on. Like you can feed that into some AIs too, where you can, generate. And I'm going to show you that. So speaking of which, okay, so these are great. See, I love that y'all are thinking in big leaps because
So
that's what it's about.
Marilyn, when you're saying like take a look at this podcast that I watch or whatever, could you actually prompt it by typing in there, hey, take a look at my, LinkedIn persona or whatever when you're creating whatever it is that you're asking the AI to create? Will it actually pull that out and do that, I guess is my question.
It could be, I mean, LinkedIn would not be the best example technically, but unless if you have a bio on LinkedIn that you can copy and paste,
Okay, so you would just pull that out
you would
by
just pull it
itself.
out. Yeah. Now,
Because otherwise, I presume it's going to look at all the vastness of LinkedIn, for example, or Facebook, or whatever.
it depends on which tool it is. People are always developing new things to just work with the whatever platform that is. I know that a lot of the ones I've seen on the back end were for the Facebook thing, where you can even ask it to say, here's the thread that I created. Respond as me to these comments.
Huh.
Yeah. And so a friend of mine selling that, you can get it for like $47 a month or something. It is wild. It's crazy. Okay, so this is a podcast that I did. So I'm going to say create a short recap on this podcast and tell me what kind of person is speaking. It's me. It's me, by the way. Okay, so this is called Exemplary. So you feed it clips and things like that. It spelled my name wrong, which most humans do. So, what? This is me just blabbing, right? So, first episode of Into Success podcast, host Marilyn Crump introduces the concept of blending intuition with entrepreneurship. She shares her journey from being an introverted child in the Philippines to becoming a multifaceted entrepreneur. Marilyn emphasizes the importance of embracing uncertainty, learning from failures, and trusting one's instincts in the business world. She discusses her experience with creativity, personal growth, and the significance of positive thinking and the law of attraction in achieving success. Throughout the episode, she highlights her unique approach to goal setting through her dream success strategy, which focuses on direction, relinquish distractions. That's not right, AI. Organized planning and efficient action. Oh, no, that's right. Relinquishing distractions. Yeah, I did say that. Never mind. It's more right than me. Okay. Marilyn Crump is portrayed as a reflective and creative individual who values intuition and personal development. She has a diverse background in performing arts, web design, business, and she aims to empower others to harness their intuition for success. Her journey showcases resilience and adaptability and a commitment to helping others navigate their entrepreneurial path. Okay. Create a narrative
First prompt that you put in, did you put in,
from
like,
Marilyn. I'm going to spell it wrong because that's it. Create narrative from Marilyn in her voice about her philosophy for success. Okay, so let's see what happens. Hi, everyone. I'm Marilyn Crump, and I'm thrilled to share with you my philosophy for success, which is deeply rooted. That's too fast. Come on. Okay. What?
Seems that AI is a bit wordy.
I know. It must know that I talk a lot. Wow, look at this. I rewrote my own script. Dag.
Turn your volume off.
Okay, I have no. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I mean, I see it typing and it was talking out loud.
Oh no, that was me talking.
Oh, I thought that. Oh, okay.
So if someone was like, "Hey Marilyn, I need a quote from you, like, could you send it right away?" Sure. I can just go from one of my podcasts and say, "Here you go." It generated that how long? It was less than a minute, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see if it sounds like me. Success to me isn't just about reaching a destination. It's about the journey and the lessons learned along the way. I believe that intuition plays a crucial role in this journey. It's that inner voice, that gut feeling, guiding us through the complexities of entrepreneurship and life. When I reflect on my own path, I see how trusting my instincts have led me to opportunities I never imagined. Sounds like me. I mean, those words are definitely used. And what do y'all think? Isn't that wild?
Mhm.
Yeah, like I said, I think if you feed it the information about who you are and you give it something to work from, it can do a pretty good job. And if it's incorrect, Michael, to answer your question, I think you can say, I don't think you quite understood where I was going. What I'm looking for is,
Okay,
and it will rewrite it.
very cool.
So you can kind of have a conversation with AI until it's starting to give you what you want.
Okay, so you
Right.
wouldn't actually go back into the original and edit the way you would something normal. You would actually go,
You just keep
AI,
having
give it another shot.
Yes. So remember what we talked about with our own characteristics, right? There was a lot of patience, trying it again, like tweaking, testing. It's so much that. But
Okay.
if I like here was the old process just for contrast, right? You would hire a content writer who had to like maybe interview you maybe 2 times on Zoom, and they would try to remember kind of like the highlights and the points. Maybe they'll run a transcript as well and start writing like you. But then if you're like, I got to tweak, okay, give me 2 days and I'll send you my improvements, right? I'm literally asking this AI to be my copywriter, and 30 seconds, it's fixed it, you know? So just think about that. Copywriters, you would sometimes buy a block of time from them, or outputs could cost you, a couple of grand to hire a copywriter.
So
What?
is it permissible, and I don't mean to like
No, this is all the right questions. Keep it coming.
is it permissible in, I guess, the current business age or what have you in the current reality to say, hey, AI, write, and I don't mean like cheating in school or something like that, but I mean, like from a business perspective, I would give an example. I was interviewed recently by a business magazine. The person that did the interview, I don't think it was all that, didn't quite come out the way we were looking for. The editor called me and said, hey, do me a favor, write what you want it to say, and then I'll edit it and so on and so forth. Is it permissible to go to AI and say, hey, this is what I'm looking for, write about me? And then I guess, kind of tweak it, so on and so forth. Or is that, unacceptable in an age where everybody's going, oh, you used AI to create your resume, or you use AI to write your doctoral thesis or whatever. How does that play into what's acceptable from a business perspective and what is not?
Sure. So there's been ghost writers for years. All
For
of the
years.
people that you are like, my gosh, they're such a good writer. Nope. They didn't have the time to write that. Bill Gates
Right.
didn't write his own book. He can't even schedule his own day.
every
Did you watch that on Netflix? He's
saw
like, I don't have a brain. She tells me what to do, the assistant lady. So he
platform.
definitely did not write a book,
Sure.
right? No, it's been definitely used by the people who could afford it.
Right.
But now that you can afford it, you have total permission to like handle your business, right? I think if it's for your thesis, I mean, back it up, right? Like, because if it's for a doctorate, they're gonna sit you in front of a panel and you gotta recite everything anyway. So probably wouldn't work well for that. For
Right.
your
But so
resume, I
for
used to be
general,
a resume writer for my college, so those kids didn't write their own resume.
so kind of similar. And I guess so presumably then the example, I mean, because that's an actual true example of that interview for this magazine. So now I've got to find time to do that. But my point being, hey, I know AI. And that's, I guess, where I was going with that is, would
Yeah.
that be permissible? And then send it to the editor and say, hey, look, I used AI's assistance. Do what you want with it.
Absolutely. So right now, you all have a permission to grant or acknowledgement. What did you just see on your screens?
This meeting is being transcribed for AI Companion.
Sounds good. So, hi, Mike. I am interviewing you for my magazine. Can you give us a little bit of what your business is about and why it's a good one to know?
So you could just fill in your, okay.
No, you
Oh,
no,
oh, you're
answer for
asking.
us right now. Yep.
Oh,
Tell us, Mike.
wow, I'm on the spot. So I guess a little bit about myself is that I spent the last 35 years in law enforcement at the state, local, and federal level. Uh, I have conducted investigations throughout that time period. I was in charge of an office for a federal agency, and now that I've retired, I decided to begin a business that performs services of private investigation in the civil sector. These are we offer services that include investigations of personal injury, investigations of workman's comp cases, anything in the civil realm that would be needed. We employ a cadre of experienced investigators, again, at the state, local, and federal level, all of whom have at least 20 to 25 years of experience. And we strive to create a product that is reliable, factually based, and informative, that will enable an attorney or a private individual to prove the case or support their contentions.
Perfect. Okay. Love it. And, we
That was
have
like
our
a
AI
comprehensive
who was,
assessment.
no, that was great. That was great. So now I'm going to write here. Um, let's see. So I'm going into the AI companion right now in the Zoom. So this is a prompting exercise in Zoom. Where I'm going to say, provide a description
Can you share
on Mike's
see what?
for this one I can't because it's the Zoom,
Oh, okay.
So on Mike's business and details on what he offers and his background. Look, I can write run-on sentences. Background experience. Okay, let's just see what it spits out. So it's analyzing right now. Sorry, I can't share this part of the Zoom. But we're gonna take this and then we're gonna throw it into you.com. And so here's what's another cool thing. Let's see here. So, okay. What was recently discussed? It's saying that I don't know Mike. It's saying I know Marilyn Crump. Okay, now that long prompt made no sense to it, right? So the short prompt now says, what was recently discussed? That was my shorter prompt. The meeting recently discussed Mike's business background and services. Mike shared his 35-year law enforcement experience and current private investigation business offering services in personal injury and workman's compensation cases. The business employs experienced investigators to create reliable, factual reports for attorneys and private individuals. Is that a good recap?
Yep.
Okay, so now I'm going to take that little recap. I'm going to share my screen.
Hey, son.
We're going to go to you.com. So I'm going to just go here, new chat. Now, what's cool about you.com when you're doing prompting and stuff, you can ask it to use a certain AI platform. So if you want Claude or if you want GPT or GPT 4.0, or you want to do a research one. I'm just going to go with the default smart. Okay. But maybe, so we have featured marketing. We'll just keep it featured and then smart. All right. So now I'm going to say,
That's maybe a
I'm
non sequitur. That's maybe, the smart part. I'm not really sure about that.
well, this one, it'll combine all the different AIs. So I'm going to show you when I hit this more button. These are the different AIs that this one aggregates. So it's one of my favorite platforms because you can kind of say, hey, I want to use Claude. I want to use OpenAI or Gemini. You can do it all and you're not paying like extra fees. Excuse me. And so far I've been unlimited. I haven't run into where it's like, you've been asking me too many questions. So I'm a writer. For what magazine? For a magazine that caters to what?
Oh, it's actually just a local business magazine. I mean, I can name the magazine if, I don't want to front them out or anything.
No, it's fine. Readers who like to learn about businesses.
Local business. Local.
Yes. So
Yeah, because it
about
is local business, not necessarily
like local business owners or something.
Mhm.
It's kind of
Owners.
accurate.
Write an article based on the following.
Ooh, I like that.
Crazy how fast it is.
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah.
All right. So I wrote your article.
Right.
Marilyn,
I'm gonna publish it now. Let's get it.
I owe you and Ken dinner.
$39.99.
That's right.
That's right.
You two can own this.
But you see, like it can be like
Wow.
expanded or so, and here's what's fun. And this is what I do kind of like chain AI prompting. So if I'm like, I like that, but I want to expand this. So I'm going to copy it here. I'm going to go to my Notion and then I'm going to, let's see. And I'll send you all the outline. And I'm going to show you other examples that other people have done when they're prompting. So create a new page here real quick. And then I'm going to say Mike's article. I'm going to paste it in there. I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to ask AI, make it longer and change the tone to be more vibrant. So let's see if it understands that. I'm going to insert it below so we can see what the difference was. So there was the one section from a different AI. So we could see like what changes were there. And it's funny that sometimes it has its typo that, oops. So Grammarly is an AI, right? But sometimes it doesn't agree with the Notion one. What sets Mike apart is his infectious enthusiasm for each case combined with a meticulous attention to detail and an unwavering commitment to thoroughness. The result, a flourishing practice built on genuine connections, trust, and an impressive track record of successful investigations that continue to exceed client expectations.
Wow,
So if I want
impressed.
to be that kind of writer, right? Like,
There
Yeah,
you
it
go.
does
So
tend to use the same adjectives over and over. Like if you are using it for social media posts, it kind of starts to follow a pattern and it'll use, I don't know, the word tremendous, or it'll pick some adjectives and like get stuck on them and use them a lot.
So you just
Yeah,
have
and
to
so
be
you kind of
aware of that happening and
Just tweak it.
adjust
Yeah.
those. Adjust those.
yeah. So you could even say like change the tone. Oops. So let's go back to, and I'm sorry for bouncing around, but this is kind of part of the fun. Okay, so if I go here
This is very cool.
and if I say, you know what, I love that article that this lady wrote about me. And I want to make my marketing life easier. So create 5 social media posts about this article highlighting me, right? So, and then hit enter. So if you're like, I don't like creating social media posts, there it is. There's 5. In need of investigation services for personal injury or workers' compensation cases, look no further. Mike's Private Investigation Services is here to provide expert assistance with integrity and dedication. Contact us to learn more. Even some hashtags, right? So it can hop from being an article writer to a social media person. But since, I didn't flower this one up, it won't have the annoying words that Erica mentioned. So I go back to the original source and then prompt from there, right? Because if I was to prompt from the other one, believe me, those social media posts will be a lot more flowery than this one, right? And it knows that social media that people pay attention to kind of little emojis because people go, what is that emoji? Okay. Oh, look at that. He's a, 35-year experience person. So that's pretty cool. But that's how you would prompt for social media, right? You can even get even more detailed. So you can say, create a post that would be very effective for LinkedIn. Because we know that LinkedIn has a different tone, right?
Mhm.
So then here we go. It likes bullet points. Yeah. So it's a little bit longer. It kind of gives a little bit more highlights. And then LinkedIn also likes hashtags too, right?
Given character limits too.
So they're for that. And then if you say, you know what, how or create an article based on all of this info for Substack. So Substack kind of likes headers and like sections like that too. So we'll start building that. So this is what Substack would like. Now, if I'm like, I need a little bit of let's see here. Where is that one model? Did they take off my creative tab? There it is. Okay, so I'm switching to creative. There's the tab. You see that? Based on the information about Mike, please create an image of Mike. We'll see. And you're muted, by the way, if you were trying to say something, Mike.
Yeah, it was a smart comment. I was just say, I bet I'm tall in the image.
What if it gets you right? Oh, that's you.
Come on now. It couldn't have done much better than that.
Oh my gosh. Nuh-uh.
That is hilarious.
Oh, wow. Locked and loaded. Glasses, the short
That is
hair,
funny.
the eyebrows.
Oh, that's funny.
Uh-oh. You thought you were anonymous, but no.
I know. Apparently, well, there goes my undercover career.
AI figured you out, Mike. Isn't that wild? Like, so if you need, like, so I was working on somebody's like brand persona and I said, hey, give me an image of their audience, right? And it produced a couple of different ones. And we said, okay, now give me a male version and give me a female version. That was neat because then as they had that in front of them, it was easier for them to kind of, okay, I now see like what may be more appropriate to speaking to that kind of person, right? So it just kind of is neat. but that's wild. I've not seen it be that good before. So that's creepy cool. And I did not plan that. Okay. So yes. All right. So we have about 30 minutes. So who wants to really kind of have more fun? Like what else is like starting to like bounce around in your head? What are you starting to go, maybe I can use it for this, maybe I can use it for that? Like anything sizzling in your brains.
I'm curious to know if it will help do like a book outline, because I had started writing, but I just have it on my computer. I'm just doing one chapter at a time, and I think in script or something like that. So I'm wondering if it will help me structure that better.
I'm glad you asked. Okay. So where's that one? Okay. So if we went to the only thing about u.com, oh no, there's a new search. Search chats. What? That's new. Okay. I'm gonna now search my chats. Hey, look at, we just discovered something. I wrote a book in 10 hours from concept to publishing using, yes. And it was for networking for impact. So notice that, let's see here. Sorry, it's saying low system resources. My computer's like, no. When was that? It was October. Sorry, I do a lot of things. Okay. Innovations. It was a networking thing. Networking. Okay. Business retreat. Maybe that's the one. No, that wasn't it. Yeah, so this is new. I've not used this search function. I don't like it. Okay, so it doesn't really get me to where I need to go. All right, so there's Mike again. Okay, so what's the book about, Amber?
Well, it's about dealing with grief, the loss of a child.
Oh, yes. So we're saying, okay, watch the tabs. If it's u.com, watch the tabs that you're on. So I'm going to go back to Smart tab, right? So then saying I'm working on outlining a book for my friend Amber, and she is writing about her personal experience in dealing with grief because of a loss of her child. Okay, so first I'm working on outlining a book. And so it's going to just give us some bullet points, right? So, which is good because sometimes we're like, look, where do I even start? Right? Like,
Right.
how do I start getting the thoughts out? So based on these things, right? So then I have, all right, maybe this part here. So create a checklist of items that would help with the following. I'm a copy paste person, so I always just kind of do that.
Me too.
So this helps me a lot because sometimes it's like, okay, like there's some nuances that I don't want to forget because especially if it's an important subject, maybe there's like things that it brings up right here. So this is cool, right? So it's like, okay, if I'm writing in this section about grief, but right now this is kind of generic. It doesn't know your story, right? So if you wanted to maybe have a recording, kind of like what I showed you with the transcript thing, right? Let's say you decide, hey, you know what? One day I'll just kind of sit myself down in front of Zoom and just talk through like the different things that I'm experiencing. How could this help somebody else? What are some, just realizations I've had through this time since, etc. Just to kind of get it out there, verbalize it first. And it could be just fractioned, and you don't even have to feel like you're saying it all in the right order. That's what I love about this. So, I'm writing here, typing for in case you can't see. Create a book outline from this podcast episode that would be appealing to entrepreneurs. I don't know if I need to be that specific, but we're going to see what it does. So based on just me talking, so it was never written, like this was just me by myself for my podcast. So even this platform is helping me outline. So technically I could write a book again tomorrow. Uh-oh. Coffee. Okay. So that would be kind of interesting, Amber. If you called me next week and you were like, guess what?
Book's done.
I wrote my book this past weekend, wow. But look, I kind of like this AI. Who are you, AI? You're doing pretty good. And see, that's what not all AIs are the same, right? So Tony earlier said that she really likes Claude. There's so many people that love Claude. I think Claude just has a really clean approach too. So I don't know what this one is using technically internally. Same with the one in Notion. But look at that. They gave me my whole outline. Would I make it better than that? I don't know. That's good. I've been wanting to write a book about me.
So another question.
Thanks, Amber.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Question: Can you
Yes.
with what they just wrote there on that whole outline? Are you able to copy and paste that, like email that to you or print it out directly so that you can have it in a hard copy?
Oh yeah. So the next step I would take would be to put it in maybe Google Docs, right? And then that way, if I need somebody to help me edit or AI, I can have saved different versions. No, it's pretty easy. So when you're in any of these, they make it so that you're able to just copy paste, right? So, just get to the that section and just start highlighting.
Okay. And did I hear you correctly earlier? Because I don't see it up here, but maybe it's just this one. You can do a talk versus text.
Oh yeah. So they'll show you the transcript. So it finds the transcripts, and I just fed it the audio version. So if you wanted to feed it, so some of you are good with being on camera, you can actually ask this particular platform to create AI clips of you. So it's going to find all the nice highlights and it'll create the clips for you automatically, right? Where I was at is AI chat. Now I can even ask it to create like automatic AI content, which it has some defaults when you first choose it. So let's say if it's a podcast newsletter, already created something for me. Again, the formatting may not be the best because it's not known for that. It's just known for the generation of things. But then let's say I wanted to create a FAQ or something that's going to go on my website. Then here it is, right? So let's say I go back, I just copied it, right? So to answer your question, so I'll go to something like either Google Docs or Notion, and I can paste it in here pretty easily. So I'm just make a new fresh page. So these are what they call like shortcuts. So if I want to make a page in Notion, so Marilyn's book, and then I'll just paste it right in there. So there it is. But thanks for the question, Amber. That's fantastic. All right, so let me see if I missed any comments here in our chat. So Gervante's enjoying himself. That's fantastic. And I want you to play with it. So Gervonta, I'll show you, since you missed the beginning, I'll definitely send you, everybody will get the replay for sure.
Sorry,
But
sorry about that.
oh no, you're good.
I was just coming in from work, and I just had to hurry up, even though we're in different times, especially here in Texas. I did kind of, I'm not sure if it is like a question or anything. It's something like what Miss Amber was talking about. Actually, you guys need to see my face. Hold on.
All right, there's
Y'all see me?
Gervonta. Hey.
Hey, Miss Marilyn. So it's something also doing with like a book that I'm kind of a little bit, I haven't had a chance to really publish it yet because like I'm not sure if it's going to be a great book or something. It's mostly like poems that I've been writing,
Nice.
and I basically wrote over 100 poems, and it's mostly deals with with the grieving and happiness, and just just mostly is like a more positive side. And it's like, how can I be able to make my this book that in the future, if I'm working on getting it published and stuff, or maybe I can maybe send it to you, Miss Marilyn, to see what you think about it, and like, what can I do? What can I do better on?
Sure. Yeah, I think definitely let's look at that. But one of the things that already pops in my head, especially if you're a poet or a writer, sometimes like those things are uh, better sellers if you have some images that go with it. And so maybe if we fed some of the poems to the AI and say, based on this poem, could you suggest an image that could be generated to accompany this piece, right? I think
Right.
that would be pretty cool. I'm going to show you guys a music prompt now to even get you all crazier and more creative. So y'all ready to create a song with me? Right? We could do it. We got this. I'm seeing
It's
people like, what? What are we about to do?
it,
Yes, we're about to become musicians right now. Told you this was a hands-on AI prompt class. So, because you might need a little musical intro to your gun-toting photo mic for for your YouTube channel. I don't know. So you need something royalty free, but then also catchy.
Ooh, I
And
could be an
so
influencer.
you could totally be an influencer. Like y'all don't have any excuse anymore. Because I'm gonna be like, yeah, didn't I show you that AI? Yes. Okay, so now I'm going to write, let's see, what kind of song are we writing? Let's write a positive, catchy song about getting your taxes done, even if you are frazzled and disorganized. Okay, so we're going to create a song. Oh, I need to log in. Hold on. Can't give you my credentials. Okay. So one, because sometimes I forgot how I logged in. So that's embarrassing when I
So
try to figure
are
out
a
how did I
lot
get
of
in.
these are a lot of these AI sites, Marilyn, are they open, was that like open AI, open source, or are they
Um,
pay to play, or
Some of them will give you tokens or credits so that you can utilize it for free at a certain level every month, which is nice. Then there's other ones that if you want to use it a lot, of course, they got to make their money. Um, so yeah, so that's for this one, I am paying for it because I used to pay just for like instructional things I wanted to create. Look at this, all the things. What? That, all right. So write with Suno. Sorry, I didn't remember my prompt because I wasn't logged in. So we're going to say the lyrics. Okay, so motivational song about tax preparation
Mm-hmm.
for someone feeling frazzled and can't spell it right, disorganized. Okay, I made a couple of songs for while I was on a golf course for someone's social media. Some of you local know Chuck Worley. So for his HVAC little thing I made while at the golf course, I just asked Suno to create me a little rock song. So we're gonna say, let's see, lyrics. Yeah, that's fine. So write the lyrics. So it's first gonna generate the lyrics. Now you can do instrumental, which is totally fine. Sorry, I probably have so much going on right now in here that all my AIs are like, who is she paying attention to? Let me copy this just in case it fails. Oh, Casey's jumping on. It might not like that I'm on Zoom. Sometimes I find that certain things will be wonky on Zoom while I'm on Zoom. So hold on, let me stop share if the sharing is what's making it crazy. Or we might try it on my phone. So, okay. It's telling me to hold my horses. It says, please wait a minute. Okay. Okay. You know what? I'm not going to wait a minute. I'm too. Okay. I'm going to share my screen again. I think I figured out what the problem was. Okay. So let's go back. Can y'all still see me, my screen? I see you. There you are.
Yes, we can see you.
I lost y'all for a second. There we go. Okay. We can do this. Okay. There we are. Okay. I'm just going to skip the lyric writing from there. Why don't we go and ask you.com to write me a song? I'll say, so I'm going to, it's not going to create the music, but you.com can, and I like actually its songwriting abilities the best. So let's go back to the Smart tab on this one. I'm just going to say, write song lyrics from the following info. Again, I do that because I'm a copy paster. So you can always say following because I'm going to paste something. So tax time anthem. Okay, I like the title. Very nice. Ooh, it has a bridge. It has an outro. Okay. Woke up this morning, papers everywhere. Grasping for air. Ooh, that's nice. Okay,
Now
so
sing it for us.
yeah. So now I'm going to go to Suno, paste the lyrics in here. And I want a, what do we want? What kind of song do we want? Upbeat.
I would say just upbeat.
Blue with a bluesy. Bluesy rock and roll feel. Okay. So no persona. Oh, we did have a title. Let me grab it from here. Let me take that out of there. Let's paste it down here. Title. We're going to create our song. Y'all ready to rock out? Okay, so tax time anthem. It's going to generate 2. And it's fun because even before it's done generating, sometimes you can start listening to it, which is crazy. So meaning it's still kind of running, or maybe it's done. It's done. Oh, hold on. I got to share sound. So I'm going to stop share. When y'all are in Zoom, when you share, you have to click the little share sound button. Okay. So now you should hear what this is. Tax time anthem version 1.
Woke up this morning, papers everywhere, feeling frazzled like I'm gasping for air. Receipts and forms are piling high, but I won't let this tax season make me cry. So I'll take a breath and I'll take my stand. Gonna tackle these taxes, I've got a plan. With every line I fill, I'm closer to free. This is my moment, just wait and see. Got my coffee strong and my playlist loud.
I can mind dance to
I'm turning
this.
this chaos into something proud. Step by step, I sort through the mess. With a little motivation, I'll handle the stress. So I'll take a breath and I'll take my stand. Gonna tackle these taxes, I've got a plan. With every line I fill, I'm closer to free. This is my moment, just wait and see.
That's catchy.
Got my coffee strong and my playlist loud. I'm turning this chaos into something proud. Step by step, I'll sort through the mess. With a little motivation, I'll handle the stress. So I'll take a breath and I'll take my stand.
Love it.
Gonna
Okay, so now let's listen to version 2. That has more of that bluesy.
Woke up this morning, papers everywhere. Feeling frazzled like I'm gasping for air. Receipts and forms, they're piling high. But I won't let this tax season make me cry. So I'll take a breath.
Oh, I'm
and I'll
sending this to
take my
Janine.
stand. Gonna tackle these taxes, I've got a
So look, you
plan.
can-
With every line
Okay,
I
I'm
fill,
gonna. This is crazy.
closer
Okay, I'm gonna stop share for a second. People charge a lot of money for people to personalize birthday songs, Christmas songs, anniversary songs. You
Heck yeah.
literally could just be like, "Hey, who needs a Happy New Year song to send to their boss? $15, I got you down.
Right.
Give me some bullet points about what your boss likes to do, and I'll whip you up like 2 versions of a song and you use whichever one you like."
So now how does it get to the point, or when, I guess, does it get to the point for the music industry, for example, where people say, well, I don't need to pay you $15 because I can use AI and create it myself.
Yeah, it's at that point. But
Right.
you know,
So yeah, so it's kind of, is that a
but
not
it's
a
like the fact that if
double-edged
you don't know about it, right?
Right.
Right.
Or if you don't know how to prompt. Oh,
There you go.
which most people don't know how to prompt, and that's their issue. They don't even know where to go to prompt, right?
Okay.
So I've taken you on a tour, a prompt tour. So, and I'm not kidding. Like if you, I mean, I started my business because I was selling drawings to earn ice cream sandwich money in middle school. So a business can start anywhere at any time, right? So if you want like your own family travel anthem for your next vacation to Asia, Nikki might just generate something catchy and funky for your kids to sing along to in the car on their way to, wherever. But isn't that fun? Then you can really customize something cool, like maybe a birthday rock song for your favorite client. Or you can just make some instrumentals. So let's make some detective sounding instrumentals. So if we let's see here. I've probably used the word epic. So now we'll just kind of like take out. And then you can also explore. Let me just show you what that looks like. So there's my credits each month. This is all the crazy styles you can pick. You're like, what does that even mean? City pop symphonic metal, or acoustic rock chill synth, or a French big band, fife and drum blues, P-funk, Japanese shoegaze. Like, it's crazy, right? And then if you want to hear what that sounds like, oops, I didn't share sound again. Let me get back to sharing sound. Oh, I did. Okay, so, if I would need a liquid drum bass rockabilly, you can listen to the sample so that you'd know, hey, I want to prompt something with that. Or if I want a let's see, something that's
Do
not
house
close to what we
reggae.
just did. I'm sorry, which one?
House reggae.
Sorry, it's kind of moved. It's kind of
Time is ticking, but we must begin building a world where love and peace win. No more war, no more poverty stain. A sustainable future for where the souls gain. Rise up humanity and claim.
so anything you can think of, and you can make up your own stuff. Yeah. So type in suno.com at some point so that you, and again, you'll have the replay so you can be like, where she took me on a journey and I don't remember where we landed the other day. There we are. So yeah, you could be Casey Kasem, for sure. And then, oh, thanks, Gervonta. And especially since you're a poet, you can start maybe creating some musical versions of your poems. Maybe Dr. Joanna, maybe there's a theme song for the next speaking engagement. So you know how like sometimes speakers will have like their pre-music before they jump on the stage to speak. It'd be a good one to do. Tony, you're a speaker as well. Like I've seen it with other speakers where they've commissioned someone to write them an intro song for a lot of money. You know, crazy. Or you want like a specific sound for your modules for when you are developing courses based on either your book or your anything else that you're doing, that you want underlying like sound so that people go, this is the brand, like this is the Tony, sound, etc. So like there's so many places that we can land, and we're just scratching the surface. Remember, I'm showing you something that didn't exist over 6 days ago from the Google one, right? It's a totally brand new platform. Again, there's that for free. It hasn't worked in my experience when I'm trying to do Zoom, but if y'all check out Speechmatics, I'm gonna show you the first screen. Somebody who is like a great programmer like Erica, this might be a good tool for you to just think about how maybe you can help someone develop this for a lot of money. Okay, so maybe helping them develop AI voice agent through Speechmatics. And right now you can use free credits for this one too. So what this is like, if you have your information that you want to feed into a chat bot, this is the thing. We'll test it for a second, but I can already tell my internet's struggling with it. No, we won't, because then that'll be annoying. Okay, so just guarantee, just check it out. If you, again, this might be a little bit really, really high level, but if you just like playing with things and just exploring and just being like a smarty pants, you get 8 hours free per month, which is crazy, to like, utilize some of these things. So let's say you want to help people stay safe, and or other businesses that you might have or whatever, you feed it certain things, and then maybe you're like, hey, I need to also help somebody in another country with the same thing, and then it can even do like translations and other things like that. So just something, again, this is top level. I just wanted to show you like what else might be out there if you're a developer or you're trying to help people with more complex things regarding AI. It's a whole new industry budding right now. You kind of can name your price if you're one of the first people out there. I don't know how long the rush will be for, right? Because it's going to start being integrated in our phones and our computers and every other thing that you might be engaging with. So, being a first adopter is always kind of a fun thing to be. And then Tony said, what was the AI for the creation of images? You.com, using the creative tab. That's correct. You can use, there's other ones that are just popping up now. And if you, by being here today, we are all connected now. So if I have any cool updates to share, you are on my hot list to share. So if I'm like, ooh, I've just been experimenting with this, come check it out. Definitely, I'll share with you as well. Other things that's happening before we go, for some of you who are starting a business and you need a mastermind to be in, or even if you just creative projects, we do have our Refined Strategic Blueprint group. We meet at least twice a month, and we work through different business plans, etc. So hit me up if you're interested in that. You'll see some of really great familiar faces, people who are just doing really cool things, but a lot of it is centered on marketing, and then also like how to structure your services so that it's easy to present to somebody so that you can get like the sign off and things right away, but other things to maybe stretch beyond so that you can build other income streams. It may or may not even be related to the initial idea, but our whole goal is to kind of make sure that it used to be called, so you know what the goal is. It used to be called 1K in a day, but because the methodology was, how do I create promotions that's going to bring new income into the different streams that I have? So it is now called Refined Strategic Blueprint because it really is about refining and then having a plan that you follow in order to make it successful. So let me know if that's of interest to you, and I can give you more information about that. But other than that, you all have been an amazing group. Thank you for Yay. Thank you for being on this journey with me tonight. And like I said, I'll send you all the replay. But until next time, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your holiday season. And I might not see you till next year, but know that I'm thinking of you. And I wish you all the best. So bye for
Thanks,
now.
Marilyn.
Bye.